So, what can you tell us about what's coming up for the rest of the season?
We got 4 more episodes. We call them the Big Four, and we would when you write the show, you always, the first thing you submit to the studio network, and just for our own purposes, it's an arena document. It's like 3 or 4 pages long, and it kind of tells the arena what the story is. And in each of these are the next 4 arenas. Each one, Eric Kripke, the creator, would go. Okay, well, this is impossible to produce. I mean, like, there was just, I think at the top of each one, it was like, okay, this one's like, okay, here's our impossible, and then it just was this layer. So, no, they're huge. They're huge episodes. If you look at the series as kind of this, as we do, as kind of this epic saga, this kind of, you can look at these last 4 as kind of the end of the first chapter. So it's almost like the first 2 seasons is like the first chapter, and you'll see as we spin off at the end of this this season, the show will turn a corner, and not just in terms of the story and the storytelling, but also for all the characters too. There's life-changing and emotion-changing events for everybody within these last 4 episodes. There was you got a hint of that, or an example of that with Charlie, the last episode, having to kill Jason, and the repercussions of that for her are at least twofold. I mean, one is obviously the emotional tumult for her, and that harkens back obviously all the way back to the pilot, and so there's the echoes of that. But it's also, as I believe Miles says in the first couple minutes of the next episode, we got to get to Tom Neville before he gets to us, because as soon as Tom Neville finds out who did, what happened and who did it, Charlie's, numbers up. So, and that's Charlie of it. The next episode is the Miles. It sends Miles down a path that will be changing. Putting him on a journey that he's going to try desperately to cling to. At the same time, you've got Rachel, who's kind of our lightning rod for she's kind of got her feet in both of our main storylines. She's obviously a big part of the Patriot story and the co-opting of Willoughby, but she's also a part of the Nano story as well. And those 2 stories start to vibrate closer together too. So,
that's what I was going to ask, because it almost has felt like there's been almost two shows going on.
Yeah.
Somewhat, and I know that Aaron got back with the rest, and so I'm like, oh, finally, maybe this is going to finally.
No, well, and Rachel's obviously the absolutely logical person for Aaron to latch onto and try to. But there's huge revelations about the Nano as well as the Blackout, and so no, there's a lot of things revealed that that again harken back even to the pilot, the very first episode. So no, we kind of look at these last 4 episodes as the Big Four as kind of their own kind of little event, for our movie. The Nanotechs for several episodes has been trying to kind of understand its creator, us, and what happens when it starts to kind of find us sorely lacking. It's like what do you do when you find your creator isn't all that you would hope or expect it to be? What are those repercussions? And so Aaron's been our point man for that, and then so Rachel's kind of like fighting multi-front battles and such. So it's good. We're real excited about it.
So what about Monroe and his son? What are we going to see with those 2? The son has lent a really interesting, obviously, color for Monroe, giving him some sort of foundation of something, because he was the building of the Monroe Republic and all that was so tied to his relationship with Miles, and then when that exploded and then he lost the Republic, as we saw at the beginning of the season, he was like a man with nothing. Now he's actually got something to latch on to. But Connor's son is very much his own guy, and as you've started to see even in the last couple episodes that Connor isn't just going to be an adornment to Monroe. He's very much his own guy, and we don't know. There's a lot of stuff about Connor from his time with the down in Mexico and being part of that cartel that we don't know yet. And he's going to start showing himself to be very capable of some really dark things, and you start to see suggestions of that in these last four, and then as we spin in the next season, you'll see a lot of that.